there, thanks very much for joining us in today's program. My name is Nsia Basi Valentine. We woke up to guidelines and provisions by the NFIU who was saying that and is still saying that from June 1, 2019, all funds must go directly to the local government without interference from the governors. Now, that has generated a lot of controversies. Some people love it, some do not, but you see, the conversation continues. And right here on Passion TV, we have among the 774 local government chairmen in Nigeria, we have one of them. Now, this gentleman, executive chairman, Abak local government area in Akwa Ibom State. His name is Barrister Imoh Williams. Barrister, welcome on the program.
Thank you.
Which one do you prefer, Barrister or Honorable?
Well, I think the profession will survive.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I won't be questioning him alone. Together with Emmanuel Akpabi, who is on the show for the first time, I should say you're welcome on the program.
Thank you very much, my sister. Honorable, you forgot to put that he's also an elder.
Oh, you're an elder.
An elder of quite a judge in that regard.
What's his own? So the Lord will bless us so much in this.
Oh, it's good to have you on the show, sir.
Okay, so let's delve right into it. Okay.
Are you going to question me?
No, we're just going to have an interaction. We want to understand
interaction is
what
okay.
is going on. You don't like questioning.
Hey, questioning is like you are interrogating
You don't
me.
want me to put it to you like you put it to people. Okay, so there's been a lot of hula baloo in this. We want to understand what is NFIU saying. Let's get it down. Let's bring it down to earth for.
Well,
everyone.
NFIU is Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, a creation of the Act of the National Assembly sometime last year, ascended to by the President. Their core mandate, to the best of my knowledge, and within the ambit of the Act, is to regulate gather financial intelligence on the movement of money within, the country and in relation to other member countries. For instance, in Nigeria, they have been on, this has always been, it has always been there, except that the international community demanded that it should be created separately as an institution to man and police, the gather intelligence about the financial situation in the country.
So they are different from EFCC and ICPC?
Yeah, as I speak now, they are completely different and independent institutions. Initially, they were attached to the Money Laundering Prohibition Act, and of course an arm of the EFCC as well. Those were the regulatory agencies that manage the affairs of NFIU. Okay. But as I speak now, they are independent entities, and part of their core mandate, like I have said, is to trace the financial transaction in the country with the aim to gather intelligence as to the extent that money is not laundered out of the country or laundered within the country.
Oh, and it's not used for terrorism.
Yeah, it is not used to enhance, prosecute, or run terrorism, kidnapping, or gun running, or any act that will, threaten the peace of the country. And so that's their core mandate. Recently, at about sometime in April or May thereabout, they came up with the saying that from June 1st this month, they came up with a guideline which tends to regulate activities of the local government, the functioning of the local government as in regards to financial transactions. They turned out several guidelines. My concern is that one of the things they use, or the criteria they use for coming up with these guidelines, is the fact that bulk of the local government funds are laundered into the street, from the street, evil-minded persons who take advantage and use them to prosecute terrorism, kidnapping, and then gun running, which is threatening the peace of the country. And as a result of that, they feel that they can now stay as an arm of federal government to regulate activities and the financial flow of the local government. Now, they came up with a guideline. The guideline is saying that they want to implement Section 162, sub 7 to the fullest. And what is the provision of Section 162, sub 7 of the 1999 Constitution as amended? The provision is that state joint accounts are to operate as transitional institutions. When the funds drops, you transmit to the local government accounts without tampering with it. Fine and lofty idea. Good. But that will be to the extent of some states that, do not allow these funds to flow into their respective LGAs.
Okay.
That's to me. And that will apply to some states who will use these funds rather than allow the local government to use it to prosecute their functions, you understand, to enhance terrorism or procure arms, for purposes of breaching the peace of the country.
Okay.
To me, to that extent, it's a perfect job. But to states that have already, for instance, in the Akwa Ibom states, when the funds comes, it's transited to the local government. Because I sign checks for payment of salaries, which are the frontline charges.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, we take what is left in the account and use for the running of the government, of the local government. So I do not really see it as, being applicable to states like Akwa Ibom State.
So
but I know that there are some
states, are there states
of course,
that do not
of course.
this money?
I want to believe.
LGS?
I want to believe that before they came up with this, they are because they gather intelligence financially. So there must have been some states in the country that indulges in, maybe making use of the entire funds or releasing the funds into the street for purposes of procuring arms and aiding terrorism and all that acts before they came up with this guideline. My worries in Akwa Ibom is not actually the fact that they have done this laudable job. I have two worries about the guidelines.
All right, let's hear it.
One, the Constitution has clearly stated the regulatory agency of the local government. That is vested with the state houses of assembly. Undisputed by Section 7, you understand?
Yeah.
And by Section 162, sub 8, particular with regards to joint account.
What does it say?
You understand? Joint account is a creation of the Constitution. 162 sub 6 specifically created the state joint account. And it said, where funds of the local government will be paid into that account.
Okay.
You understand? By the federal government. And 1627 now said, when you get the money transferred to the local government, 168 now said, the management of that fund shall be as provided by the state houses of assembly. In any manner whatsoever. That's what the law says.
The management
it shall be subject to a law that is made by the state houses of assembly. You understand?
Okay,
in whatsoever manner.
Because when I'm talking about the funds, we know so much that from the federation accounts, the local government is entitled to about 20.6%.
20.6%.
Like, is this the percentage that you're talking about, or is it kind of mixed with some other funds of the state government?
No, what comes to at the federation account?
Okay.
52% will go to the state, to the federal government.
52%.
If they declare now that they have 200 million or billion to share,
okay,
for the 3 tiers of government in a month, 52% of that 200 million naira will go to the federal government.
Okay.
Then 26 will go to the states.
Yeah.
While 20. That 20.06,
yeah.
not 6, so
20.06. That's right.
20.06 will now come to the local government. Okay. Whatever percentage of 200 at that is calculated, that's what gets to the local government area.
Okay, sir.
Does this
come to you? So far,
it does.
Does this come to you?
It does.
All of the 20.
Of course, it comes.
Comes to the local
It
government.
comes. Let me tell you, the creation of the state joint account was mainly for administrative convenience.
Okay.
As it were, the yearning of the people as at that time.
Okay.
You remember that there were times local government could not pay salaries.
Yeah.
You understand? And they now came up with the creation of the state joint accounts, whereby they said, allow the money to drop into the state transmit this money to the local government. You understand? Local government area front, and so when it gets to the local government area, the state made it mandatory now. You understand?
Okay.
That payment of salaries and other staffers' allowances must be a frontline charge.
Okay.
Before you do anything, the state will monitor that you do those ones. So while the money is there, we will sign checks.
Okay.
You understand? I will sign check for teachers, primary school teachers' salary.
Okay.
I will sign checks for the traditional institution. I will sign check for gratuity. I will sign check for pensions. I will sign check for nursing staff. I will sign check for pension and you understand?
Yes.
Every front line, wages. I will sign checks. You understand? And for what we sign is about 100 and something million naira in a month.
100 and something million.
It can never be less than. in a month.
Has that been consistent, or does
It's been consistent. What I'm talking about is staff salaries. The only one that is not consistent is, in terms of payment of gratuity or pensions. Pension keeps increasing as people retire into. You understand? Wages keep increasing as people are employed. You understand?
Okay.
So it gets in, it gets out. You understand what I'm saying? So that is what goes for the servicing of staffs at the local government. And this is also taken from the same allocation.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you discover that what is left for local government, that we have concentration of, senior staffs. Okay. We have concentration of much of the workforce. You understand? You discover that what will be left when you get, for instance, 120 million, 130 million, 140 million in some cases, that what will be left.
Is that about the money you get in a month?
That's the money you get in a month.
That's all local government chairman
get
gets
about that in a month. You understand? Yes.
So no local government chairman gets like 8 million, like 80 or less.
The amount you get less. The amount you get like that. The amount you get less than 100 million. It depends on what the federation account is giving. You understand? What gets to your local government is a subject of what they declare for distribution at the federal. Okay. So the money has a name tag.
Okay, given to it.
And it goes through that name tag. What the government does is, in some months.
When you say government, what do you mean? The state? Or
the state government.
Okay.
In some months where this money could not even take care of the salaries of the workers, they augment. Like they are now. They are. And when it comes like that, the federation, money from the federation account comes in. The state also share, the share of internally generated revenue. You understand?
Does it go to that joint account too?
It goes there.
Okay.
At the same time. So we meant from other revenues.
Okay.
You understand?
So who and who constitute this joint account?
All the local government chairman, the governor is the chairman, but hardly is represented by the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. Okay. And then the representative of the Accountant General. Okay. You understand? So you rarely see the body. Some state the governors will sit because they are the chairman of the state joint account. You understand? By law, they will sit. Some state the governor will sit.
Is the Attorney General part of the?
He is. Okay. He's part of it. The Attorney General is part of it. Then other agencies where we give money, for instance, SUBEP is there. Local Government Service Commission is there. They are represented because every month, apart from payment of salary, we give them money for training and training and retraining of staff of the local government. So this has been going on well. There hasn't been going on very well. And you realize that in the entire state, if not the country, you really see where they say staff are not being paid. Staff of local government are owed, or primary primary education is shut down. People are going on strike. NOGA is going on strike because of payment of salaries. You understand? What is left now is used managerially for other projects. In some other LGAs, you understand? We use it, for instance, I have used it to do something which are tangible, I can show it to people. The problem we have is that people don't seem to realize the fact that this money comes from the federation. Okay. And a paltry sum is given to the local government. Okay. The government that is closer to the people, more than the federal government. Why the federal government takes a chunk of it, the local government here, you understand, which is everybody, if you come here in the morning, you see people with all sorts of problems, coming around asking you for assistance in one way or the other, because they cannot go to the state, they cannot go to the federal. Okay. You understand?
And what you use is what is left after salaries are paid, right?
What
you use and to run other
what is left after all expenses, recurrent
expenses. Yes, after recurrent expenses, as you has rightly said.
Okay, so let's talk about this. You've brought in an issue there before we go to a clause of what the NFIU published. Okay. You've talked about, you've mentioned primary schools, and right here in Akwa Ibom State, it has been established that some primary school teachers are yet to get their gratuity. I think the last that has been paid is, it could be traced back to 2011. Is it the local government that is to be blamed, or the federal government, or the state government for any delay of payment of gratuity?
I think payment of gratuity is a function of primary school. For the primary school, a function of availability of funds. Okay. And that's why when I say that people should join me in clamoring for increased funding, some of these things you just don't know how it comes. You don't know how it works. No sane person will sit as a governor of the state, as a chairman of a local government, and will sit on the gratuity of any worker who has retired meritoriously from service. Okay. For what purpose and intent do you keep it? You understand? But if, for instance, there are people I promise assistance at the end of the month after payment it doesn't come. Okay. And you won't kill yourself because the funds is not there. Okay. You understand? So what I'm saying is that maybe some people are being owed gratuity, as you have rightly said, but that doesn't mean they will not be paid. But I understand that the governor, when he came, has paid a lot of backlog.
Yeah.
You understand? And is still gradually paying. So automatically everybody will pay. It's a function of availability of funds.
Okay.
You understand?
Now, what do you think about the idea of granting local government autonomy?
Best and perfect. But then, there is a caveat. What is the caveat? If you are granting local government autonomy, which I want it, please increase the funding. Because if you give the funds at its, of course, it would even be a platform where
That's your condition for giving
yes,
it best.
if you increase funding, if you don't increase funding, and you give us autonomy, it will be a platform for us now to agitate for more funding.
Okay.
So give us the autonomy first. We will know how to go about the increase of funding.
So you
Why?
need autonomy.
Why don't we need it?
Why was the local government?
We need it. We need it like breath. I've said it severally that we need the autonomy. Now, if the autonomy comes the way it is now, and funding is not increased, you understand, there will be retrenchment at the local government.
What is wrong with
Do you know why there will be
autonomy is
retrenchment?
coming now?
Do you know why there will be retrenchment? The current indices of payment cannot take care of the payment of the 30% minimum wage at the local government.
Considering the new minimum wage.
The new minimum wage, if it's implemented at the local government. And what we are receiving is what we are going to use as an autonomous, local government. It cannot take care. There will be crisis. So what I wish that the federal government should do is give us autonomy, increase funding. We'll take care of the wage bills, and then we'll have something left to develop the local government areas. They do not know the workability of this system. People believe that when money comes, governor will see they slice the money and put it in their pocket and say, take this and go and work.
So it doesn't do that.
That is not the system. That is not even the way. It doesn't go that way. This money comes with a name tag.
And it goes to a particular,
particular purpose.
project.
And how do you tamper with it? So it's for confident purposes that the governor will sit there and watch that chairman used to divert money meant for salaries to something else.
Chairman from where?
Before now.
Okay. Is it
before now,
the joint account?
Before the joint account, before the reform.
Don't you see the possibility of this? Because you remember we had this autonomy some times back. I think is it 1970s? Talking
Exactly,
about local government,
exactly.
reforms.
Exactly.
I think you feel so comfortable with the joint account system, don't you?
What I'm saying that I feel comfortable to some extent. It works some convenience to members of the public.
But you need
the autonomy. Myself as a local government chairman, I'm handicapped. You understand? So, but it works hardship to us and the administrators. But members of the public enjoy it, particularly the staff. You understand? Because they are sure that no matter what comes in, their salary is a front line. And you can imagine when somebody maybe builds hope on money at the end of the month, he doesn't see the money. If you give it to me, I will prioritize.
Okay.
I will certainly prioritize.
And that may not be salaries.
That may not be salaries. Salaries may come like a second priority.
Okay.
And I may even say, let me pay you half payment. Next month, when it comes, more money will come next month, I will balance up. That next month may come, and you may not even have what to balance up.
Yeah.
And you see, one use of it is that bank will be ready to give you what amount of overdraft.
Yes. Sure.
Because they are sure that once that money drops, they will take it. You understand? And in some cases, when they take along with their interest, you go back with zero allocation. You can't even pay staff. Crisis will come. Staff, local government will start shutting down offices.
I still want to understand.
Me, I want autonomy.
Does other 30
Of course, all of us want autonomy.
Okay, so if you want autonomy, what is the state government doing in the court?
The state government is not going to court. Local government is going to court. We are going to court.
Why are you in court?
We are going to court. One, asking NFIU to withdraw their guidelines.
What is wrong with the
and then
guidelines?
give us autonomy. You understand?
But
the guideline one is working hardship against the administration of local government. For instance, they are saying
says you can withdraw 500,000.
you cannot withdraw above 500,000 naira
you could do transfers,
in a day.
Bank transfer.
You understand?
And raise a check.
Yes, you could do that bank transfer. They are not supposed to be a regulatory agency for the local government.
Okay, the NFIU.
They are not supposed.
It's
They have
the
no rights.
assembly that's
They have no
supposed
rights, constitutionally or otherwise, to act. You understand? You give me money, and you are limiting me on how to spend the money. If I have an agent and a serious issue, security issue that demands 1.5 cash immediately, to sort out. You understand? Because sometime last month, there were some issues I needed money so seriously. I had to mop money from everywhere. I brought some people to the table, and then I needed to solve that problem immediately. And I needed about 1.8 million naira. You understand? I had to look for where I can raise this money.
And apart from
because it was quite challenging that I have to solve that problem.
Yes.
And I was able to solve that problem. And after solving that problem, the local government returned to itself and peace prevails immediately. You understand? So there are some situations that you face reality of spending above 100,000 naira and you'll be limited by this guideline. The fact is, there are other regulatory agencies and laws on ground to check laundry, to check armed banditry, if there is anything like that.
But is it lawful? Is it lawful for NFIU to make regulatories against the local government? Is it lawful?
It's not.
Is it legal?
It's not.
So you're saying that the NFIU,
they
what
have
they're doing is illegal?
Monitor the process of how local government funds are expended.
Okay.
Monitor it. Gather intelligence. Where it is expended wrongfully, prosecute.
Okay.
That is what the law should be. You don't churn out guidelines giving directive to local government on how they run their affairs when you don't even have the rights.
By the State House of Assembly.
Yes. So you see, you see the issues there.
With the fact that these provisions and guidelines are coming from the NFIU and not from the State House
even
of Assembly.
the State House of Assembly, they have their local government administrative law already on ground, and we are working harmoniously with regards to these laws.
So how do we combat this conception? People think, particularly around here, that Governor Autonomy is anti-people. That is why he is refusing to allow this to happen, for monies to come directly to the local government chairman.
Ignorance.
Misinformation. Okay.
Ignorance and misinformation. And I've been telling people that, see, as a lawyer, I owe you a duty to tell you the truth. Because I took an oath that I'm bound by that oath. And I have nothing to lose.
And you're telling us the truth now, that
the
allocation to local government chairman always comes to them complete.
Why not? The only issue that it stops at the joint account and you distribute it to the frontline charges.
And then what is left now?
You take it, you now get a check and then drop in the bank. But people do not know about these workings. You understand? That's not the issue. The issue is that, see, there is no law, as I sit now, conferring or attempting to confer autonomy on the local government. There is no law.
There is no law.
The constitutional provision that has taken away local government autonomy has not been amended.
Of the existence of
presently has not been amended.
And so they can't be.
And so members of the public are being brainwashed to believing that they have granted us autonomy and we refuse the autonomy. I tell people that Section 7 of 162 has always been in existence. You understand? If there is anything wrong, let's not mix up issues. If there is anything wrong, if there is any violation of that section, if you violate a law, the appropriate place to go to is where?
The court.
Is the court to enforce. You understand? Not you just sit down as an agency of the federal government and then churn out a guideline and then say this guideline is hereby expressed irreversible. By so this, you can't do this.
Okay, so,
by this, you can't do this. In fact, it is, even if I don't make noise now, in time to come, it will work hardship. There is a serious constitutional problem that is brewing in the air, whether you like it or not. Because two laws cannot operate in a system. One law permits this one to do this, the other law permits this to do this. And now, yes, they have a whole of the bank because they monitor from the bank. For instance, if you are dropping above 5 million, you have to declare source. So they monitor from the bank. The problem we are having now is that they know that they can manacle the bank, and that's what they are going to do. And once that happens, it means that local government will starve of funds.
It's going to affect the...
It will now. It will.
I'm wondering how you've been surviving since June 1 till now.
Well,
where's the money been coming from?
Are
you running the local
we automatically don't want to make noise for now.
So what is the position now?
At the moment.
You know,
the position is that
where are you getting money to
before
spend?
1st of June, we've approached the court.
Okay, before 1st of June.
Yes.
Okay.
Why they say they've refused is that we wanted injunction restraining.
And when you say we, who are you talking about?
The local government chairman in Akwa Ibom
Okay.
State, we wanted injunction. And the court said this is not a matter for injunction. Save all the parties. Let's give accelerated hearing in the matter. The matter is coming up.
Okay.
I think it's coming up either this Monday or thereabout again for the hearing. They've entered defense.
So it has not been implemented.
We are fully in the court now. So whatever will come out of the court, that will be what we will. If it is subject to appeal, we will appeal to get to the appellate
Is that
court.
just from Akwa Ibom local
Akwa
government
Ibom,
chairman,
but
or is it extended to-
governors of the entire state and the ages of the 36 states are going to have already prepared that dusting their file to file a matter is got any moment from now. My brother, these guidelines is going to work hardship. But if you don't know,
Let's understand it. How so?
I have said it.
You have 500K that you can use.
I have
If
told
need
you.
more,
I have told
use
you.
a check
if-
or do a
I have
bank
told you that
transfer.
there are practical situations you can spend more than 500 as a local government.
But that doesn't come up every day.
That is even just by the way. Local government is an arm of government. I am elected by the people. I'm accountable by the people. So what gives me the impetus to stay in Abuja and ask me how I spent the people's money? This money is not a favor, it's a right. It is a collective right, it's a collective fund. It's pulled from the federation account. It doesn't belong to any arm of the government. It belongs to the three-tier of government. Nobody regulates how the federal government spends. Nobody regulates how the state spends the money. Why is it the local government? Why is it the local government? And unfortunately, this is the closest government to the people. That's why I take it so personal as a lawyer. Because I've seen that what they're doing is not right. It's an infringement. It's an infringement.
Because all things being equal, maybe had it mean that maybe it was not from NFIU, if it had to come from either from the National
State House
Assembly or the State House Assembly,
It wouldn't
you'd be
even
very,
come.
you'd be very
Okay.
comfortable
It wouldn't
with the
even come.
autonomy.
It would not even come from the House of Assembly. If it comes or from the National Assembly, if it comes from the State House of Assembly, we will protest, or we'll still go to court the way we are going, and ask the federal, the state government, the local government, the House of Assembly, please don't limit how we spend. Monitor how we spend. If we go wrong, you arrest us.
Okay.
The limitation is quite uncalled for.
Okay, the problem here is the limitation.
Not necessarily the problem. Not look
Apart
at the,
from being that it is not from.
Every other
look
provision
at look
in
at
the
look at
guidelines
look
is
at
okay,
look
except
at
the
it's
limitations.
not generally. You see, a wrong cannot be right by whatever circumstance or situation.
You know, I want to read one of the provisions. I'm sure you've gone through all the provisions. There are 7 guidelines.
And there are several guidelines.
Which one are you not comfortable with?
Read 5.
Okay, 5 says, it is hereby also provided that with effect from 1st June 2019, no cash withdrawal shall be made from any local government account anywhere in the country for a cumulative amount exceeding 500,000.
Now they know that this they know
A day. It didn't finish. Any other transactions must be done
by checks or
through
transfers.
checks or electronic funds
Transfers.
transfer.
Okay, so it is the same. It is the same. It's the same thing. Like I do ask, if I decide to transfer 10 million to somebody to go on running for me, how will you trace it?
Well,
I will finish the necessary legal requirements to transfer,
the money
and the
would
person
come
will
from
leave.
CBN.
The matter, the money comes from CBN now.
So it can be traced.
How will you
It
trace
leaves-
it?
It's a traceable transaction.
It's a traceable transaction
At
to
least
the.
the parties will be called for.
I am
explanation.
coming now.
Okay.
Traceable transaction to the extent that I am asking you to do a project for me, and you have the project,
And the project will be a visible project.
and it's a visible project.
It will be
And
seen.
you will see now the funds. Is it all the projects you see that funds allocated to the projects are used for the
As long as
projects?
you carry out audit trail, I think
Yeah.
these things are just traceable. To get to know.
Forget
because
about.
you can't approve
Forget
funds,
about.
you
Forget
can't
about.
approve
Let
funds
me
to-
tell you. Forget about all these stories. If you know exactly who is going wrong against this country, because I know that no law is made in vain. It is to remedy a particular situation or a bad situation likely to occur with time. So if you know that people are vulnerable to doing this, there's a more proper way to handle it.
What would you suggest?
You
What
understand?
ways would you suggest?
Please enforce the laws against terrorism. Enforce the law against money laundering. You understand? Make it work. Activate it.
Is this not one of the ways of enforcing
It's
laws
not what
against
this one is.
money
This
laundering?
one. They are saying they are not saying that this is going to prohibit or is going to work against. I only say they want to monitor.
This is enforcement and guidelines to reduce crime vulnerabilities created by cash withdrawal from local government funds throughout Nigeria.
So state, what happens to the states?
Well, the local governments make the states.
So the states don't withdraw funds? Federal government don't withdraw funds?
I think there are also agencies that...
Would you be okay with
I'm asking, don't worry. I'm asking, vulnerability is only in the local government.
Well,
you know, most of even when it happens from there,
because it's closer to the people. How much do you even give the local government? Out of 100, you give 20, and you take 52.
That can still
and you cannot regulate yourself. Eh?
Because the annoying is that NFI should also regulate states.
Let them regulate state, let them regulate federation. That's where they belong. And leave the local government to the poor people.
If this section of these provisions, if this particular provision 5,
it's
that
taken away.
limits you, it's taken away, would you be fine with every other provision of these guidelines?
Yes, to me, I don't have any issue. Because it is what we practice here.
Now that sounds like there's no problem with NFIU regulating the activities.
Well, what I'm saying,
there's only a problem.
That problem,
with the amount.
that it is, yes, that amount is also a big problem. Generally, whether what they're doing, of course, to me, I've said this severally, that what they're doing is against the spirit of the letters of the Constitution.
Okay.
That is left for the court to decide.
Okay.
But whether it is important or what they're doing generally, other ones are okay or not, it's a matter to be determined by the court. You understand? To me, the only area, the only concern, my only feeling is that as a lawyer, I have looked at it generally from head to toe, and then I see that this thing is not for the betterment of democracy in Nigeria. It's not better for the rule of law, because the laws were meant to be obeyed, and you must follow due process.
So one could, you may be right.
Not necessarily because I'm a local government chairman. You understand? I'm not crying this because I'm a local government chairman. I'm saying this because, like any other, you know, like for instance, yesterday we are all aware that the license of AIT is suspended indefinitely. These things you used to see them during military time.
Now, I have one problem with the fact that it is only Akwa Ibom that has gone to court to
others have gone now. It's not Delta State have gone. A lot of other states. And why is delaying other states are delaying to take off immediately is because some states are doing change of government.
Okay.
You understand? For instance, like your state, is the local government is dissolved. Imoh State, the local government is dissolved. So to put peoples together, state cannot on their own, without joining the local government, go to court.
Okay.
You understand? So that's why it seems as if it's, but I think generally the Governors Forum is sponsoring a suit which is about to be stated in court any moment from now. So what I'm saying in essence is, it is only in military era you see what is happening now.
So how would you describe the federal government's based on this? How would you describe?
In fact, the National Assembly will not approve, will not authorize appointments, and such people will be allowed to be appointed or allowed to stay in office.
People like who, please?
EFCC chairman.
Okay. Is he acting?
You understand? Acting for how long? That is one. Two, court will give judgment compelling the federal government and institution to release somebody on his right, and they will refuse to obey court orders. It may be these people today. You don't know who will be next. They sat on the television, they sat yesterday, and then decided to suspend the license of AIT. Over what? AIT man said that they asked him to renew the license with 500 million naira. None other media houses was asked to pay that amount. Why? Because they say they consistently publish hate speeches against government. We are keeping quiet. We are watching. This, guideline now, everybody knows is against the spirit of the law. But people are clapping. Let it be. There's nothing wrong. Let it be. The chairmen are greedy people. They don't want autonomy. Autonomy in what sense? Agreeing that this thing was to convey autonomy. By virtue of that clause 5, does that allow the autonomy to flow?
So you're saying this is not...
No, I'm only asking. I'm asking you. You are learned now. You are lettered. You are educated.
I think you know the answer to your
question.
Let's go.
I'm asking. Assuming that this is the autonomy everybody is saying, limiting me on what to withdraw in a day, does that convey autonomy on me in the true sense of the word autonomy? Does it?
Well, I guess at this point, the fact that the money comes...
Does it Answer me.
I can't give
You are regulating me, and you are giving me autonomy, and then you are
She's
regulating.
not the one regulating.
I'm not the one regulating you.
She's not.
And I
She's,
think
she's not the one regulating.
fact
She's
that
not the
this
one
money
regulating.
comes to you directly. I think the federal government doesn't want the governors to have a way of touching these monies. That it should come
If
to
the
you, that
governors,
you should
if the
decide
governors,
what
if
to
the
do
governors
with
have
it.
been tampering with the money, take and close the chapter of joint account.
So if the governors were tampering with the monies, what ways would you say the
You
government?
amend the laws. Amend section 162 sub 5 and 6.
So you recommend amendment of the constitution,
And then the autonomy
as a
will flow.
solution to this?
Yes.
Do you
Okay.
see the ideal of true federalism in all of this?
From this,
True federalism of Nigeria as a
idea.
whole. Let's.
where do we have
Do you
it?
consider it? So it's not a federal government.
It's not.
So it's
It
what,
is
what,
one.
what's
It is
the-
one arm of government muzzling the other.
So what name will you give to this as a law?
That's how we're operating on.
In fact, we lack words to describe the scenario we are facing ourselves.
Oh Lord.
Okay, so let's.
A regular
Even
person
fiscal federalism, you can't even have it because that would amount to resource control, and you cannot have it.
Well, I don't know. But you see, our people, I think from what you've told us here, that the government does not temper with the monies that come to the local government. So I think we should go back and demand accountability from our local government chairman. Let's understand why we're not having more projects, more roads, more water projects, and all
You
of
see,
that.
I have told you,
What?
we should clamor for increased funding.
So you receive 100 and something million, and that's not enough.
You
to
receive
do
100 and
things?
something million, and you pay 100 something million to staff.
Why shouldn't you be more transparent? Let's see how much you received, how much goes into salaries, and the rest of it. How are these monies used?
This information is already at the public domain.
So what happened previously? What happened previously? Because we hardly see
Where?
local
Previous
governments.
domain,
We hardly
where?
see local
I'm carrying
government
my
chairmen.
phone. I want to see
We hardly see
where?
local government chairmen nowadays
It's not that
building
you go.
projects, doing lots of things, constructing primary school. This project seems to be actually done by the state government. Why are the local government chairmen and the whole local government council as a whole? Why don't you still implement projects?
Are you sure?
When I say
how many councils have you visited of recent that there's no project going on?
I think we have visited as many as possible.
How many?
Okay, sir. Let's look at
Let's
you.
see
Let's
in
look
Abak-
at
Abak
your.
local
Let's look at.
government.
We are in Abak.
Unfortunately,
What are
for
you
that
doing in
purpose,
Abak?
when I
Can we
leave,
talk about
when
your
I
visible
leave,
project?
when I leave here, I will take you to the project I'm doing.
Okay.
When I came on board, the local government did not have, or as I speak now, we do not have a legislative chambers.
Is that an immediate need of the people?
Of course, if you do not have
The
where laws
lawmakers.
are made, and you are operating, a democratically elected government.
We
and
came
a local
through. We
government.
came through that place, and 1 year, 6 months, and you have less than 2 years to go. That project is not still.
The project is at the block work. I've completed the block work.
Okay,
Like I
that's
have
today.
said, you prioritize your.
So when are you looking at finishing?
And as I went, by the grace of God, we'll finish it before December.
Okay.
Now that elections are over and we are facing serious business, we'll finish that job. We'll finish the project.
Okay.
Election itself is a process.
Okay, because you've talked about elections, let's quickly react to another point raised by the NFIU, and I think the federal government also, that INEC will now be in charge of local government elections. What's your take on this?
Who said so?
What's your take on this?
Who said INEC? INEC will be.
INEC.
Who said so? Who said where? Because that one I've not seen. I saw it on media. And
But would you like that INEC runs local government elections
They cannot even come in.
until
Okay.
the constitution
Is amended. The issue of autonomy is done. So
Okay.
when people say INEC wants to conduct local government elections, how will they
So
conduct?
how would that feel? Just imagine how would that
It will be, you see, that will be automatically giving back full powers
to the
to
federal
the
government?
local government?
to the state, to the people, to the local
To the
government.
local government.
You understand?
So
Because
wouldn't
by
you
that
like to
time,
be this
they
super
will
local
scrap
government
AKS here.
You see, it just
This will
feels
not be
like
doing it.
what NFIU is doing, what the federal government is trying to do, is to give power back to the local government chairman and make them super chairmen, where they can decide what they do. And it feels like you don't like that.
That is, I am not saying it's not good. Give us the power, but give us constitutionally. Don't give us through the back door.
Okay, you need it, but you need it in the
We-
right.
we did it in the
you
right
need it
way.
So also, do
I'm-
you,
You
amend
should
the
just
law.
be happy about
Do you
the
know
fact
that a lot of
it's
people,
coming. It feels
as
like
I
you
talk
want
now,
to
a lot
give-
of people do not know that this money is not coming directly to the local government.
where is it going to?
State joint accounts.
But
After
that's
the
what-
autonomy?
Which autonomy?
I thought it started from June 1st.
So you're not still believing that this autonomy.
No, but the issue is that the law enjoins the federal government. You have your constitution there.
Yeah, yes, I do.
Read 162 sub 5.
See, people, we have our own constitution with us. So let's go. The system of local governments by democratically elected local government councils is under this constitution guaranteed, and accordingly, the government of every state shall, subject to Section 8 of this constitution, ensure their existence under a law which provides for the establishment, structure, composition, finance, and functions of such councils.
Why did you mention only
God
finance?
bless you. No, composition, structure.
You did not mention composition. You did not
No,
mention structure,
no.
but finance is
Why did you
finance.
say-
No, I was following because
Okay, so
I have the whole
Would that
thing.
be your area of
I have the
interest?
whole thing in my head.
Okay, so
If I
interpret
wanted
what
to
that
follow
means.
and say composition, chorus, I would have chorus.
But why
Okay.
did you
You
decide to
understand?
chorus
No,
out?
no, I'm only being emphatical about that.
Okay, so
Open to 162. Let me open to 162.
Section 162,
Sub five.
subsection. Okay. 5. I should start from 4?
Well, even if you start from 4, no
Five.
problem. Start from 4.
5.
You have
Okay. No, let's go from 4.
Okay.
Any amount standing to the credit
Of
of
the
the
states.
states in the federation account shall be distributed among the states on such items and in such manner as may be prescribed by the National Assembly.
Good.
The amount standing to be credited, no, Section 5 now. The amount standing to the credit of local government councils in the federation account shall also be allocated to the states for the benefit of their local government councils.
Let's hold on there. Shall also be allocated to the states. So people, as I speak now, they are saying that with the guideline of the NFIU, a lot of members of the public is saying that with the guideline of the NFIU, money is now coming direct to the local government.
So
Have
this
you
has
seen,
to
have
be
you seen the
amended
impediments
first.
there? That is the first impediment.
Okay.
The first impediment.
So what happened? Does it mean that NIV does not look at this?
They look at it. They are only isolating a provision to say they want to enforce. But in law, you cannot isolate a provision that is favorable to you to implement and then throw the rest away. The other section cannot. It's like if you want to disembalm yourself, you cut the hand is off. You understand? Other part of the body is there. But you cannot expect this hand to function alone when there are other parts of your body. Can it function alone?
It's not possible.
If you take the hand away and keep and say, hand not function, can the hand lift itself by itself?
After 1 second.
It cannot. So that's the issue.
The amount standing to the credit of local government councils in the federation account shall also be allocated to the states for the benefit of their local government councils on such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the National Assembly.
Agreed.
And the other one says, each state shall maintain a special account to be called State Joint Local Government Account, into which shall be paid all allocations to the local government councils of the state from the federation account and from the government of the state.
That is the revenue from the state.
Each state shall maintain a special account to be called State Joint Local Government Account, into which shall be paid all allocations to the local government councils of the state from the federation account and from the government of the state.
Good.
Each state shall pay to local government councils in its area of jurisdiction
That's 7.
such proportion of its total revenue on such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the National Assembly. The amount standing to the credit of local government councils of a state shall be distributed among the local government councils of that state on such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the House of Assembly of the states.
Period.
So when you look at all these things that are being said,
Such terms and such manner, it gives the House of Assembly the latitude to sit down and say, money is in your account. Bring this. That's the law. That's the law.
So, but what would be the problem if the federal government is just saying, okay, that has not been working very well, just receive these monies at once and use it the way you want? Why shouldn't
And that's what they are attempting to do.
But why don't you
That
like
thing
that?
they are
All of
attempting
this
to do,
money is
let me
coming
tell
to
you, let me tell you, they know that this money passes through financial institutions, the banks. You understand? So they are manacling the banks now. They are holding the banks to ransom. Because they know that the money in the local government, in the state joint account, the state governor, the chairman will agree based on the House of Assembly laws to use it the way they want it. But they are now telling the banks, don't honor those checks when they come.
Okay, sir. Let's
So
round this all up.
once that is done, what do you think is going to happen? Crisis will come. Because payment of salaries will not come. Entitlements will not come.
To now be at the discretion.
What's supposed to happen will not happen. Because they know that they can hold the states to ransom. They hold the liquidity licenses of the banks. Just like they withdrew that of AIT, they can say, bank, shut down, we are not functioning, we are now obeying our laws.
People will suffer.
And the people will suffer.
Thank you.
So
very
those
much.
are the action I tell people it is potent, is on the ground.
Okay, so
One thing I've discovered in Akwa Ibom is that people reason along political parties or party line. They are too sentimental about, which party made this or which party made this. Nobody wants to know if the party does wrong and condemn it, or if it does right, you give a right or an applause to it. Nobody wants to say if it is PDP,
it's not good.
to an APC person is a bad thing. If it is APC, to an PDP person, very bad. But we must leave those sentiments aside and critically look at what is done by the federal government. It's
take
waiting to
this
explode.
point and give your final take, your parting shots on the show.
Well, I want to, the Akwa Ibom citizens should maintain the enlightenment status, which I know we have. We are very enlightened. Look at the provisions of the law, read them side by side with that of the NFIU Act, the guidelines, and then you'll be able to decipher the good, the bad, the ugly side of what we are talking here. I'm not saying this because I'm a local government chairman. I'm also saying it because I have some insight as a lawyer. And I'm saying this because tomorrow I will leave that position, another person will take that position. And if I don't make the noise now, generations to come will say, what did they do when it was their time? You may call me name, you may label me, you may say what you want to say. But truth, they say that is crossed to the eight, must surely rise again. That is natural. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Barrister.
I'm grateful.
Sorry,
Thank you
you
very
need
much.
water?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm grateful.
Imoh, would you like to add a thing or two?
It has been rightly cleared that the state governor, Governor Dongebele Emmanuel, is not in any way tampering with the funds of the local government area. So be very careful from where you read your own story. Okay. Thank you very much and stay out of trouble.
You've heard it all from this local government chairman. All the monies that the federal government sends to the local government usually gets to them, all of it. The governors do not pay for it. That's what he says. So guys, let's go back home and demand accountability from our local government chairman. Let's understand what has been happening. So they've been receiving all of these monies, and we're at the point where we are. Let's go asking some more questions. Thanks for watching the program today. Please click and subscribe to our show, and we'll see you in the next videos. Thank you very much.